No ads, no sales calls, no cold outreach, no simpy content, no team. Just me, my phone, my strategy, my system. That's exactly what I would do if I were to go from 5 or 10 or 15, 20K and I wanted to get to north of 50K a month. In fact, this what I'm going to show you guys today is how I would get to 100K a month if I was stuck anything sub that. Okay? Now, the first thing I want you to do before we even get into this, I want you to understand there are 9 musts that I'm going to take you through. If you want to build your business to 50K plus a month, you've self-actualized, you may have got in savage shape, built a mindset, mastered biohacking, high performance. Maybe you left your job to become a full-time trader and you want to help other people do that. Maybe you've built e-com businesses and you want to help people build that. Maybe you mastered real estate or sales and you want to build a business that helps other people do what you've self-actualized. Like, the world needs this, right? Because the world's fucked. Everyone's not exposed to maybe what you've been exposed to. And you can expose them to it, help them transform their life, and be paid in return. Money is just value. You give value out, you're going to receive it back in. But there are 9 musts that you must do to do that. I'm going to share, guys, I've built 2 7-figure offers now. One in coaching, one in consultancy. All right, my elite entrepreneurial athlete system and my Black Room program. Right? I want you to not only, by the way, guys, if you can't listen through this video and listen to 9 musts, you can leave now. Good luck scaling your business. But this is 9 musts. And I want you to just sit down. I want you to chill out. I'm not going to rush this video. Pen and paper. Sit here with me. Pen and paper, or if you're on the TV or on your laptop right now, grab your phone, open up the notes. And I want you to write down key points that I'm talking about. And I also challenge you to step into as close to my level of consciousness, from what I've achieved with my businesses. I want you to try and listen to what I'm saying from where I'm saying it from this chair, sat in this villa. I know you can't see it right now, blacked it out. But sat in a £2 million villa in Bali, well, USD actually. But I want you to listen to the consciousness I'm saying it from. Because I think one of the biggest pieces, one of the biggest issues with YouTube and content altogether is, and I think why people don't action and get good results with content on the whole, even if the person who has filmed the video has been very successful, it's because usually the person creating the content, in this case myself, I'm saying this from my life, my bank account, my reality, what I know, my experience. I'm speaking it from here. But people aren't listening it necessarily from how I'm taking it in. People listen from their own consciousness. Maybe in your bank account right now, you've only got 5K, 10K, 15K. Maybe you're not sat in a very nice property you want to be in. Maybe you don't have complete freedom yet. And what can happen then is you hear things from an emotion of your current reality. I want you to step into or try and understand my consciousness on where I'm saying this from, or try to imagine right now, you as that 7-figure business owner operating from that level and listen to what I'm saying and make notes from that perspective and then jump into that. We need to hypnotize you to hear it from where I'm saying it from. Okay, so there are 9 musts. Now, the first thing you guys are going to understand is most of you who are stuck, sub 25K a month, you're not stuck on this line of here. You're stuck on the top of a flat line, i.e. you're trapped. Your business simply can't scale. And the biggest issue most guys make is the way they've built their brand, you can't press the pedal harder and get more out. You may have tried it so far. You've built so far, you've made 5, 10, 15K a month, and now you just think, press harder, I'm going to make more money. No. And if you do, it breaks. Or you just destroy your life. You build yourself a prison. So the first must that I've got on my list is you must create a one-of-one brand. Why must you do that? Well, number one, you have to stand out. If you just become a generic sales trainer, a generic fitness coach, a generic anything, right? You've also just put yourself in a market where there's like a million other people doing the same thing. And if you're just giving the value and the tips that everyone's talking about, you know, the same stuff as everybody else, well, why would they pick you, right? A one-of-one brand is built around your identity. It's built around your story, your passion, your skills, just all of you. I call this, like, when I take guys through my brand process, the first thing is called identity extraction. We have to understand this at the highest level, and then we build this into your content strategy, into your offers. We're going to touch on this a little bit later, but you have to build a one-of-one brand. All right, this is how you actually get buyer traffic. You eliminate all competition. Nobody else can be you. So don't try and be someone else. You've got to get really good at being you and building your brand. Now, there's certain principles that have to be done in order to do this. You know, most people look at the industry and go, everyone's doing this, so I'm going to do it too. What the top 1% or even 0.1% guys are doing, who are making 7 figures and have complete autonomy, you know, they all have a one-of-one brand. It's built around the authenticity. They're not running these sales calls. They're not doing all the ads. They're not doing all the outreach. They're an inbound machine. A one-of-one brand allows you to get what I call buyer traffic when you've built it this way. And within that content system, there's something called belief installing. People won't buy just because you've given them value. You know, I often ask guys, you know, when they're applying to join Brand 2.0, I say, so how are you currently acquiring your clients at the moment? And they'll be like, well, I'm posting a bit. I'm like, but you don't have an actual, like, specific thing. Like, you don't actually know, like, 1 + 1 = 2. Like, your organic content has to be 1 + 1 = 2. When I create all of my content for my brand, you know, for my fitness company, mindset company, this company, for my brand, like, I know 1 + 1 = 2, because there are certain principles, there are certain beliefs that your audience has to go through in order to do that. All right, this is high level marketing. This is stuff that I've learned from my mentor who's done 100 million revenue annually. Okay, this isn't common stuff. No one's really doing this in the coaching consulting space apart from the top 1% guys. This is what you guys need to learn, because these normal clones who are the same as everyone else, they're pretty much extinct now. They're going to be wiped out in the next year. So you got to build a one-of-one brand. So you become their only option. It's perfect for them. People buy from people. You know, you connect with people and then you can redirect them, right? As long as these beliefs are true within your audience's mind. All right, so that's really important. The second must is you must create multiple offers, okay? Now, effectively, you have one core offer, one core outcome. Let's use fitness for this video as an example. Let's say the core outcome is you're gonna get people in crazy shape. You're gonna get people to 8% body fat, and you're gonna add 5 to 10 kilos of lean muscle mass, right? That's the outcome of the offer, and that then helps them also achieve certain derivative desires. This is another thing, right? This is huge, right? So one of the beliefs, I'll give you this right now. One of the beliefs is they must believe, your audience has to believe, if you're this fitness coach and you're going to help them get this, people don't want the coaching, people don't want just the body and the muscle. They want the thing that gets them. That's their derivative desires. All right, this is one of 14 beliefs that have to be true. Right? When you go on Emirates and you pay $6K for your flights and you don't have a sales call, that's because you have all of these beliefs that have been immaculately mastered within their marketing and sales process. Right? This is how the top 1% in this space operate. Right? When you go buy a hoodie, there are all of those beliefs installed of you, subconsciously, that you aren't even aware of. Right? This is like magic when it comes to your brand. Okay? Now, you've got this one core outcome, but then I would have 2 to 3 offers, like a ladder system of offers, you know, on how people can work with you. So this could be something as simple as like a do-it-yourself, done with you, done for you. You may have heard about that within like coaching. Okay, so let's use my brand as an example. I've got my elite entrepreneurial athlete system, you know, my fitness coaching company, which is fitness, mindset, competence, becoming the man. All right, so I've got my Become the Man elite program, and then brand, build the brand. So with the fitness one, I've got my baseline program, which is where you come in and you're going to get all the coaching on that, right? Or you can have the higher tier Black Room, which is where you can work with me even more closely one-on-one. You get anytime calls. These guys can just book into my calendar whenever they want in certain slots through the week. They have 24/7 consultancy. We all have live Telegram chats or WhatsApp chats, depending on the guy, 24/7, and I'll help them with everything: fitness, mindset, business, life. Same with my brand. I've got my brand program, okay, which is they get all the course, all the resources on everything to help them scale to 100K, okay? But then they'll also get the group mastermind calls. Or they can go for the same outcome but higher proximity to me, okay? And then they get the black room package of that. They get anytime access to me, 24/7 consultancy on the brand. I even have another package in that. I don't market it. People can't just join it straight up. Called Custom Built. I do everything for them. All right. If you guys aren't aware of it yet, I have like the 8-step process for brands. It's like identity extraction. It's your offers. It's your buyer traffic. From there, it's your lead flow system. It's your sales process. It's your value delivery. It's your ascend. It's your blueprint. In the done for you, I don't just even show them and do it with them on the group calls. I do it for them. So we're following the same process. It's the same offer. This is the mechanism to get you to this result. Now, it might be study it yourself. It might be do it with me, or it may be I'm going to do it all for you. Your brain might now start thinking like, okay, I can see how with my thing, whatever. But effectively what this does is there's one core outcome that they all help get to, but people can get in at this level and this price point. It's scalable by volume. You need an offer where it scales by volume. You can put 100 people in here today. Your life doesn't change, but something's pre-built. They can do it themselves and they can go and get a result by themselves. You've pre-built this value, so you're just receiving value in. It's scalable. So I could, literally last week, I made 27,000 in the day on a scalable product where I had no work. The group calls I'm always on, right? And then the package of the value is all already done, right? Then I've got like my black room, which is, okay, someone may pay me, let's say 9K into my black room one-on-one. That's gonna use my time, but there's a price to pay for that. So you've got one product which scales by price, one by volume. Same outcome, how closely do you wanna work with me? Okay? This is really, really important because right now, I guarantee you, your brand's not scaling past where it is because one, you don't have your offer set up correctly to actually scale. You've got one offer most likely and it doesn't scale by volume, it doesn't scale by price. And there is no way you can get to the income you want to be with your current offer and the value delivered. Okay? This, you guys have to master this at a very high level. All right? That's really important. All around one core outcome. The next thing is you then have to align your value delivery with those offers. So that's the third must. You must align value delivery with those new offers, 2 or 3 of them, whichever you've got. So this is huge. I was even in the gym training with a guy. He was over in Bali and he was like, Tom, can I catch up for a session? I was like, well, I'm going to be in this gym at 6 a.m. when it opens on Wednesday. Jump in if you're there. He jumped in and I was talking to him about his business and I told him this. We spoke about it personally for himself and he messaged me 2 days later and he's like, Tom, I've just made like another 3K. Right. And this guy's like 17, 18. Right. This is magic when you do it correctly. I actually did it with him. Okay. Now, you guys have to master that. So you've got these offers, but then they all have to be valuable. Okay, so my goal is, let's say the fitness industry usually just runs one offer and they're doing all these like Loom check-ins and all of this stuff. And they can only take on so many, or they'd have to hire loads of staff, loads of coaches, but they might not have the reputation they want because people want to work with you, not with some other coach. And then you got to manage all them, you got to pay them X amount of your profits. And then you just got this business which just crushes down, right? I have a product for my fitness and mindset which is way more scalable than that. It's 99% profit margin, but it's also still more way valuable than that. I said, what would need to be true? The best question you can ever ask yourself in anything. What would need to be true in order for my most scalable product to be still more valuable than theirs, than the actual industry? So my most affordable brand program, my most affordable fitness and mindset program is better than their only one. And then I've got 2 more on top of that, which just crush and destroy a market. Right? This is so important. What would need to be true to make this more valuable? Really good way to look at it. The next thing, guys, is you must now restructure your calendar to reprioritize tasks. So again, another issue I see with guys building their brand is how much time are you allocating to certain things? Oh, well, it's just kind of whatever, I do this and this and that. No structure. Your whole calendar, when you are actually serious about scaling your business, there's no point restructuring your calendar if you don't have your offers and your value delivery built out correctly as well around your identity. Because if you then try and restructure your calendar, well, how are you gonna? It's broken. You got to start from 1, 2, 3 and go in order. Okay, but once you've got your offers and your value delivery correct, you actually don't need much time in fulfillment. Okay, so I just say, okay, I'm going to do my black room calls on Tuesday afternoons and Thursday afternoons. All right, I've got my group mastermind calls for the elite and for the brand on the Sunday, and all the rest of my time is entirely mine. Right? So then with all that other time, I can just put it all into scaling. All right? So you then have to look at your calendar and go, right, I need to reprioritize my tasks. What is the highest leverage thing you can do with one of these businesses? It is 100% make content. It's communicate with your ICP, with the ideal client profile. So you got to be communicating with them. You got to know them inside and out. It should feel like you're just speaking with them one-on-one. And you need to be speaking with them, right? Too many. So, this is the issue with cold outreach. You go speak to someone who doesn't know you, who doesn't want what you have, doesn't have a clue, he doesn't have any of those beliefs installed because he's not seen any of your well-created content. And you just can't close them. And then you go on a sales call with him and you're communicating again one-on-one and he doesn't give a fuck. Waste of time. You need to set your day up and your calendar so your day is pretty much content, right? And you're saying everything that needs to be said just within content. So now hundreds of thousands of people can receive at the same time. You should never really be one-on-one, apart from when someone says, like if I open my phone right now, and I go in here into my, if I go into my, where's my email? Yeah, if I go into my email here, we can see, don't know if you can see that, application. Probably shouldn't show you the number and everything, but like application. So I just, every day, I'll get, around 10. Sometimes I've had 30 applications in a day, and that's excluding people messaging me directly on Instagram. That's people coming through an actual process. So every day, the only time I'm one-on-one speaking with someone is when someone's actually come to me and I go, yo, yeah, here's a link, you can join. Okay? The rest of the time, you should be speaking one too many, and these 12 beliefs have to be installed, okay, within your audience, or made clear. Installing sounds a little bit sometimes manipulative. It's not. And I challenge you to think like this. A lot of people say to me, Tom, oh, well, it's not just the money. I actually care about being valuable. Well, how are you being valuable as a coach? Remember, your coaching doesn't start until they start with you. Right? So for me, all the transformations happen. I've had guys go from 0 to 15K in 2 weeks. I've had guys go from 4K to 60K in a couple of months. 5 to 20K in a couple of months. Like those transformations happen when someone comes into my coaching. So saying you only care about giving value is stupid because you need to be a great marketer. All right, if you actually want to give them value. So the more money you're making, the more value you give in the world. Because remember, you're only giving value out when you receive it back in. So I challenge all of you. You are only a coach when you're coaching. You're a marketer / helping the world get to your coaching when you're in the content. So it's your duty. If you feel like you've been put on this planet right now to help the world, to help people overcome what you've come through, it's your job. Like, do it for them. You've got to be great at marketing and sales for them so you can actually get them in the place where you can take them seamlessly through the entire process to achieve all their outcomes and desires that they want to achieve. Because they're not doing that anywhere else. Right? That's the whole point. You have to be great in content. So you want to be speaking one to many. You want to be in content. Your content needs to be extremely high leverage. Saying I just make content isn't good enough. That just wastes time. Your content has to be potent. It has to do the exact things. Okay? You know, I had a guy join Brand the other week, and he started this process. He joined on the Saturday. On the Sunday, he made a video with exactly what I told him to do regarding this belief systems. He'd removed sales calls from his business, removed all the ads, switched them all off, and on the Monday, he made 9K from that video. I was like, yeah, because now your intention. Before that, he had no idea where anything was coming from. Because we'd reprioritized and restructured all of his offers and his value delivery, okay, and now made his content in a specific way and focused on doing this rather than all these other stuff, pressing ads and stuff that doesn't work and all of these cold outreaches where people don't like you. You need to become magnetic. You need a magnetic brand where the only people that are in my program have come to me, okay, because they're like, I know this guy can take me there, right? That's really important. So then we have to restructure your calendar. And not only then just for scaling the business, we've got to scale you. You know, this is something I'll touch on, but you must work on you and your business every day. Because the more you keep working on you, you've self-actualized more. You can help people go through more levels of self-actualization, i.e. get to bigger levels of results. You know, so when I started my coaching companies, I weren't who I am today. So I couldn't charge what I charge today because I couldn't give as much value out. Every day you have to work on scaling your brand, and every day you must work on becoming more of a valuable asset, because the more valuable you are, the more you can give out and the more you receive in, from a scalable standpoint and a non-scalable standpoint. All right, really important. Business growth must be the majority of your day. Okay, so people run to like, I'm going to work on this, I'm going to work on fulfillment, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. No, you wake up, and here's what I do. Morning process. I get my mind hypnotized to the level where I need to be. I go through my consciousness calibration process. Again, it's always in the link because everyone's always asking for it. It's the process I do every morning. AM assumptions, AM alignment. I go through that process. I then go smash the gym fucking hard. I come back. I take my Doberman and my toy poodle on a walk with my chick. Walk around the fucking palm trees. Get some vitamin D. Come back in. Have my meal one, which is my smoothie. Get all my supplements in for the brain. Have my electrolytes. And I get into work. And then I have a 6-hour block. You can, guys, before I got to 100, I got to probably 80K with 2 hours a day on growth because it's that potent. I just decided I want to be so much more valuable. It's not about me earning at the time 80 grand a month. It was the thing that, like, I don't care about the money. I just know I have way more value to give out. And that only means I'm going to have a lot more income. Okay. So I just pushed it up to how much. It's not what's the minimum I could do. Guys, you can make 50 grand a month doing 1 hour a day of really potent stuff. You know, there are certain things you can do that are going to make you 50K a month working 1 hour a day on growth. Right. But I don't really like that mindset. You know, that's like, what's the minimum I can do to get an outcome? I always think in the frame of what's the most I can bear? And every day I want to be able to bear more for you guys. I want to help you guys go through what I've gone through, whether it's the body, the mindset, paradigm, mental performance, building your brand, complete autonomy, right? Like, fuck how the rest of the world operates. If you guys could live in the reality, the dimension I'm in now, that I never could see was possible before, and you can do this in a matter of months, and it took me years and years and years and hundreds of thousands. Every time I made 5K, be out. Every time I made 100K, be back out. And I was just grinding and learning all of it, and now it's just into a very simple process. Like, that's the most fulfilling thing I can do, right? You should be thinking on the same thing with what you've gone through. So I try and have as much time then. Once I've done my me grow, business grow, and then in the afternoon, like I said, on some days I'll do content on I'll do calls with the Black Room guys, or I'll actually then just work on improving the product, whether it's adding new videos, new stuff that's updating. Like, guys who have access to everything, they get it for lifetime, and there's always new stuff going in. Someone was like, how can I keep improving it? And then how can I do it? It's fulfillment and improvement, growth in the morning. All right, that's just because I'm obsessed. You know, if your goal's only money, which I don't really like, do an hour or so in the morning and you're done. And I've done it before for a few months, you know, just live the pure lifestyle life, beach, clubs, all that. It's so boring. You know, I think every man's duty is to just see who he can become at the highest level. You know, so I want to work all hours. Sometimes sunbathing, it's still work because it makes me better now. I feel better, I've got more energy. But I want to be working as much as possible. I want to see what's the most I can bear. What's the highest level I can become for everyone else. But business growth has to be the biggest chunk, and then you've got improving the product, fulfillment here, and then you got you grow here. But the biggest chunk has to be business growth. I guarantee you, maybe not even 3-4% of your week is even business growth right now. And even if it's content, it's not growth. It's not doing what it has to do. The next thing is you must work on your identity, your mindset, and your syntax as much as you do just knowledge. You know, get around mentors, coaches, people who have done it. Get around allies, people who are on the same path. You know, you don't want friends, you want allies. You know, the best allies I've ever built, I've paid to play. You know, the guys, like I said, the guy who did 100 million in a year, the guy who's making 3 mil a month. Like, I've invested in so many people for certain snippets. They're allies to me. They call me up to the highest level. They demand the most from me. You got to pay to play. Okay? To grow, you got to pay to play. And that's why that's why I have such a dopamine around investing in myself, because I'm like, I'm investing, like a few months ago, I invested 100K into some consulting, and I just know no one else really, like 0.1% might do that. The rest aren't going to even come close to that, right? They're fear-mongered, right? So that, like, I have so much dopamine around, I will do more than everybody else, okay? You've got to work on your identity. The best way to work on your identity is, hitting the gym, reading, but then exposure to guys who have that identity. You know, I love it as well when, like, obviously that's why I have the mastermind calls every week. They don't just get the knowledge and stuff in the courses or the direct coaching, and it's depending on what program they're in. We can speak one-on-one. I can see things you guys can't see because I've been through it. And that's the most valuable thing about working with a coach or getting around someone, is like your blind spots. You know, I've heard someone say to me before, oh, I know my blind spots. Well, it's not a blind spot, you idiot, right? Blind spots you actually don't know, and everyone has blind spots. Only someone ahead can see them, and they are the bottlenecks that you can't get through. You know, and guys, I'll call you the fuck out. Yeah, I'll see your blind spots, and they'll be like, ugh. And then you'll be like, you know what, Tom, I've never had someone fucking be so straight, and I thank you for that. And then they go and make another 10K in the next few days. You know, that's what it's all about. So I'm here to be your ally, but you got to go and do everything you can. Work on the body, change your self-image, you know, work on your mindset, how you operate, subtract all the losers from your life. Like, I have a bit of a rule where you shouldn't, if your goal is like make 50K a month, you shouldn't be spending time at all with anyone who's either not making 50K a month or trying to make 50K a month. And when I say trying to make 50K a month, I don't mean someone who dreams of making 50K a month. I'm talking about someone who is actually putting in the work that will get them to 50K a month. They're also investing in themselves. That is why, like, the mastermind side of the programs I have is done, like I said, I build it so it's more valuable than anything else, right? It's built that way so guys are only around guys who have also invested in themselves, who are also serious, you know, instead of these wannabes who talk over here. And then they're in the room with me who's already done it multiple times and keeps doing it for my clients, right? I live it and breathe it every day. So you got to work on your identity, okay? The next thing is you must remove everything that isn't aligned 50K a month with you. So yes, I've touched on that. That could be people, right, which are programming your subconscious mind to just lose, you know, and it's the biggest way to bleed to death, you know, is people around you who you can say you love, but they don't serve you. You know, I love my family more than anything in the world, but for me to be an asset to them, I can't be around them all the time because they haven't done what I want to do. I'm better off going out, living in Dubai and Bali and keeping my circle very tight and just investing up and having allies than just living in their proximity all the time and being around their mindset, which hasn't achieved what I want to do. Okay, but also on top of that, that could be habits you have, vices you have. Maybe it's just scrolling too much on TikTok. You know, maybe it's, like I say, it could be hanging out with people. It could be anything, right? You have to get into that consciousness. Where is Tom? How does Tom operate through the day? How would you operate at 50K a month, at 100K a month? Like, you got to live that day now. That's the law of assumption. The next must is you must be clear on how 50K a month you looks, thinks, feels, and operates. Again, exposure is the best way to do that. You know, see yourself in that self-image for as long as you see yourself now. Like one of the biggest things we talk about on some of these mastermind calls within brand, or even with my one-on-one black rooms, it's a lot of it comes to identity. You know, I know what the identity of 50K a month, 100K plus a month feels like because I'm it. And one of the big jobs I have isn't just give them the knowledge to get there. It's the mental syntax, the belief systems, the identity, the paradigm of what it's like being here. Because you have to be it before you get it. Again, law of assumption, right? So I have to really help the guys on my call, you know, really think like me, make decisions like me, believe in certain things I believe in, you know, operate like me, feel the way I feel through my day, right? Think about it. If you're at $5,000 a month and you're feeling like a $5,000 a month guy and you're operating like a $5,000 a month guy and you're thinking like the $5,000 a month guy and making decisions like, you're going to be at $5,000 a month forever because you are aligned, law of alignment, with the assumption of $5,000 a month. You have to step into identity. Once exposed, you can't be unexposed. You have to get around it. You have to adopt the full syntax, you know, how the guy with results has it. So like Bob Proctor says, you know, it's 5% specialized knowledge. You're definitely lacking on that. I can see that because I've spoken with thousands of guys on where the brand's not working, you know, and helped hundreds of guys scale to 6 or 7 figures. But the thousands of guys who I've actually spoken with, who have reached out, right? There's honestly, they don't know what's going on. Okay, like it's not just the knowledge. You have to work on your identity. We have to work on the self-image, right? And how everything's operating inside. I don't know who the fuck is at my door, right? I told them to fuck off between the hours of 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. I think it's security. I'm back. My fucking missus with more parcels to the door while she just gets to go and play with puppies all day and drink coffee while I'm working. I have to go grab the fucking parcels. Typical woman. But guys, on a real, I can help you out, you know. Nothing means more to me than seeing someone who wants to get where they want to go and I have the solution. Not just the knowledge, but the syntax to get them there. Like, if I had myself years ago, I would have died for that, you know? So that's all I want to be for you guys right now. So if you do, and you are serious about this, you want to get around me, you want to understand my exact system on how to build your brand correctly, selling coaching, consulting, or value online, courses, etc. You want to build it out from A to Z in a way that's going to guarantee you get to 50K plus a month. You also want to be surrounded by a bunch of savages. Then you can click the link below, guys, and you'll just be chatting with me on WhatsApp directly. We can understand where you're at, what your bottlenecks are, what's holding you back, and I can roadmap everything out for you moving forward. And if you want to jump in, we can get you in the brand, or if you want to jump in and you want to have even closer proximity to me, we can discuss Blackroom. But Blackroom spaces are very limited. Most of the guys who jump in Blackroom are already doing 30K plus a month. I wanted to scale. But there are some guys who come in from pretty much the start, actually, but just want very, very high level time and energy from me 24/7. Okay? Speak to you soon, guys. I'd love to help you out, and I will catch you shortly. Hope you found it valuable either way. But write all of this down. If you this is going over your head, rewatch it and really apply what I'm saying from my level of consciousness, because it has to be done. You know, if I wanted to get back to 50K a month and I was sub 50K a month, these are the only things I'd focus on. People try with all these other routes, and they press so hard, But guys, you know, you need an F1 car, right, to get around the track the fastest. If you could be in this Audi A3 right now and you can press it so hard, it simply can't scale to the time of the F1 car. It's a different vehicle. We have to build your brand one of one in a vehicle that scales. And not only scales from a monetary standpoint, it really allows you to work with exactly who you want to work with. You know, all my clients are absolute savages. I love every single one of them because it's built around my identity. How could I be working with someone that was just a bell end when he's seen me? Like, it's like you know, if someone's seen the real you, right, you're going to have friends that like the real you. It's no different with your content, right? And it's the most fulfilling thing, helping people go through that, you know. I'm going to be honest, guys. Once you hit probably 40K a month, like, you realize money's not real. It's just how much value can you give the world, and you become numb to money. You become numb to spending. Wherever I go, I just tap. You know, whenever like 10,000 comes in, 3,000 comes in, 14,000, 30,000 comes into the bank on dailies. I'm numb. I don't feel anything. All I ever feel is those moments when a guy's like, bro, I'm so fucking stoked. I feel so much clarity, making so much more money. I'm really building the brand I wanted to do. Tom, I can't wait to get stuck into this. Tom, I've got this vision. I know you can help me. Okay, boom, let's do it. Tom, we've done it. That gives me goosebumps. That's where my feeling comes from. It's value. And that's also maybe another must for you guys. Shift your money. As much as I lured you in with the money title, focus on the feeling of giving value out. And if you're giving that value out, it's going to come back in. It's the law of reciprocity. You know, that's what's really going to build it. It's the difference. You know, the guys who are also in the top 0.1%, they want to see their audience win. And I would argue most of the guys who are sub 10K, 15K a month, they want to just see themselves win. But you will win when you help others win. Maybe there's 10 must. That's the 10th must. Write that one down too. See you soon, guys.